When I was in the tight grip of MS in my late 20s, my life became all about the pain, the fatigue, the anguish. I just wanted someone to understand. My heart ached for that connection, but it felt like nobody was there. I got sick. It seemed like everyone just walked away. Doesn't that sound like the typical story? But this is about what changed it. Something I'll never forget. In 2010, my mom read an article in a magazine about a place 2 hours north of where we live called Summit Assistance Dogs. They raised and trained assistance dogs. She was so interested that she told me about it in hopes to get me interested as well. But I wasn't. I just listened to her nicely and promptly forgot about the whole thing. But that wasn't the end. At the time, I was talking to a girl I met online. Her name was Lindsay. I forgot about how it came up, but I told her about the article. And she lit up. Apparently, she was a huge dog lover. She said if I was interested, she would fly out to Seattle from Michigan and we would drive up there and check it out. I agreed. So she did. So we drove up. It was a beautiful Monday morning. Summit was holding a puppy raising class. It was a chorus of little dog barks. It brought a smile to my face and warmed my heart. I still had no idea what to expect though. I wondered if a dog would even help me. But luckily, I had time to make up my mind. Summit ran on corporate donations, so the dogs were free to disabled people like me. But they didn't run in a first come, first served fashion. Their belief was match the human to the dog's personality. The dog was the one that made the decision. So who knew how long I would have to wait? All the dogs were trained by voice commands. Once the human was trained, the voice was all that was needed. Like little human children, the class was more about controlling the chaos than anything else. The puppy raisers were taught how to take care of the puppies until they grew up enough and showed enough focus to be accepted into training. Most of them didn't make the cut. They were affectionately classified as career changed. I was sitting in my wheelchair watching two puppies playing when I glanced over and saw Lindsay next to a yellow lab. He was so light, he was almost white. So it sparked my interest and I went over to them to see what was going on. That's when I met Crocker. He wasn't a puppy. He was fully grown and had spent the past 6 months waiting to be matched with someone. But he was picky. He was only at the class because he was staying with the trainer that was running the class. Eventually, Lindsay drifted off somewhere, I don't know. But I spent what must have been an hour with Crocker. I guess the trainers must have been watching me and Crocker, because by the time we left, all of them were telling me to get my paperwork filled out and submitted. I was oblivious. I didn't see what they were really saying. I got back home and Lindsay flew back to Michigan as well. I never saw her again. But a new chapter in my life just started. About a week later, I got a call from Summit saying they had some dogs that I might match with. So, Mom and I got in the car and traveled back up and rented a room. The next day, they brought out 2 dogs. The first one and the second one both were great. They both listened perfectly and followed the commands the trainers quickly taught me. Then it happened. Out came Crocker, and I realized how oblivious I had been. To be honest, I forgot the other 2 dogs instantaneously. Over the next week, I went into training to learn the 52 commands he knew, and I learned how to lead him around. We graduated as a working team within the week, but that wasn't the end. He would need to be public access recertified every year. So my job as a service dog owner would not stop. We needed to constantly train and strengthen our connection. And it didn't come a moment too soon. It was a crisp autumn morning. Dad was off at work, and Mom told me she was off to the mall to buy some clothes for my new baby niece. It had only been a few months since Crocker found his new home. It was wonderful. I could work at my desk all day long, and he could lay and sleep on my big queen-size bed. I had a grab pole next to my desk that I could use to transfer from using my walker to sitting in my desk chair. That particular morning, as I was doing the transfer though, my hand slid and I fell forward. Whenever I would fall, I always closed my eyes, hoping that I would open them again, finding that I hadn't broken anything and wasn't bleeding. But it wasn't either. It was worse. Far worse. It was the scariest feeling ever. When my eyes opened, I found I had somehow managed to land so my neck was wedged between the pole and the leg of the desk, and I couldn't breathe. I landed on my right arm, so it was pinned under me and it was useless. I frantically felt around for anything my left hand could grab, but there wasn't anything. Sheer terror ran through my veins. Then I heard Crocker jump off the bed, and something in my head clicked. One of the commands he knew was phone. We had set up a cordless phone for him, and he knew where it was. In a quiet whisper, as loud as I possibly could say it, I heard him racing down the hall. Moments later, I felt the phone along with some dog slobber in the palm of my hand. Within minutes, my mom was helping me out of the prison I was trapped in. That moment changed everything. My whole mindset on how useful Crocker might be changed. Every day we trained together, and I loved it. Never a minute passed where I grew tired of him. I loved him so much. I'm not ashamed to say that I can't think of anything I love more. My heart wrapped him in so much emotion. He was there night and day through it all. When I had a bad day, MS day, he was there, just laying right next to me. As I slowly figured out the way out of my MS, he was watching me. And when all my symptoms started to slowly fade away, he watched me from a new bed in this very room. Then that night happened. September 29th, 2019. My mind is still foggy, and I don't remember it all. I never needed to lock his kennel door in my bedroom. Often, he would just get in on his own and spend all night in there. But not that night. I woke up and had to use the bathroom. I remember walking up to my bed. But all of a sudden, I lost my balance and fell backward. My head landed right on Crocker. I felt a little jolt as he woke up. I quickly got up and looked him over. He seemed all right. I sat there on the floor, petting him until he went back to sleep. The next day started out like any other. He ate his breakfast normally. He acted just like he always did. But things started getting weird. He actually walked away from treats I offered him. That was alarming because what makes a good service dog is that first, their amazing ability to follow our voices, and second, being totally food driven. And Crocker loved them. But things just went from weird to terrible as the day went on. Right before I went to bed, I always let him out in the back to go to the bathroom. While he was out there, I remembered seeing him collapse. We all carried him inside, and there was no talk about what to do. We all got our shoes on as fast as possible, lifted him up to the back of the SUV, and headed to the emergency veterinarian. We turned down the last road. I'll never forget it. Dad was driving. I was in the passenger seat. My mom was in the back with Crocker. I remember looking in her eyes when she said, "I don't think he's breathing." My vet said it was most likely spleen cancer, and the jolt made it burst. Spleen cancer kills a lot of Labrador retrievers. But as hard as I try, I will never accept that I wasn't the driving force behind it. I'll forever be haunted by the memory of that night. I once hoped that I would one day get over it, but I probably won't. I try now to always remember the good times Crocker and I had together. He was so gentle. I loved him so much. Thank you. Thank you for watching and listening to Crocker's story.